Gentlemen, welcome to the official Board War ceremony for Season 3. Thank you for being here in person. Thank you for being here online. It has been a long road, ladies and gentlemen, to get here tonight. All the teams are here. You have fought all season long with the person to your left and the person to your right, all with the main goal of crowning yourself champion and taking home the coveted Legacy Cup right there. Isn't she a beaut? Come on. It's pretty awesome. Now, yeah, you can clap for that. I like that. Now, unfortunately, only one of us did accomplish this goal. And we are about to give them their flowers here in just a moment. But this night is not just about them. Every person in this room fought very hard. They played their games. They did everything they could to win. And sometimes the dice just aren't in your favor. Now, we are going to celebrate all of our seasons because whether we have that trophy or not, the time that we've put in and the connection we have grown with the people next to us is valuable. It matters. You guys being a part of this league, a part of this team, this community matters so much. And I, if you weren't aware, have had the privilege of being the commissioner this season and witnessing all of your games, apart from the one where I was on my honeymoon, which I still watched, even though my wife was a little, you know. And we have had a long season together that all has culminated into this night here tonight. So if you would please join me in welcoming to the stage the first team we are going to celebrate because of their incredible accomplishment, taking all of us down, the Ruby Raptors.
Raptors Season 3, everybody! Yes. Hey, I just wanted to thank all my players. We won not because we're the best, but we are. But we won because we fight as a team. We work hard, and we go in together. And, you know, I just want to say thank you to every single one of you for being so involved this year. It's been amazing. Let's see. I have a little bit of a speech, but should we put the trophy on the table first, or? Yeah, we can hold it. All right, as long as it's not too heavy. I don't know. It looks pretty heavy. All right. Well, we started out the year 0-6. It was great. I think that we were silent but deadly across the way. We pulled out, and you know, we proved to be victorious at the end. Season 2, we were 1-11. Honestly, coming out of that, I didn't think that we'd make it to the playoffs at all. And in the end, it came down to every single player putting in their best effort in every single game from the start to the end. I just wanted to thank Tim. You know, your success this season alone got us into the playoffs. We had the legendary tie with Katniss Everdeen. Right? Round of applause. That's history right there. And then he also turned into the Apocalypse, becoming Freddy Fazbear. And then we got Enigma coming in and winning the cup for us. Everyone give a round of applause to Enigma. Enigma, honestly, he started the Raptor legacy. We had our first and only win in season 2 with him. And then he started with our first win in season 3 after our 6th loss streak. And honestly, it couldn't be any more poetic. We started with you winning last year, we started with you winning this year, and we ended with you finding the win for us for the cup. And then finally, I have to give the biggest accommodations to Straw, my vice captain, someone who really helped foster our team culture. Without Straw, we wouldn't have been able to win this cup. Without my vice captain, without the teamwork that we were able to have every single game, putting our brains together, it wouldn't have been possible without him. And honestly, the culture that we have of being able to be online and being able to reach out to each other, even just casually, not just for board wars, but being able to be a team and like just become almost best friends, you know, just through this league alone. It's been amazing. It's been awesome. We've had such an awesome year. And honestly, not just your involvement with loving playing the league and being a part of our team, but also becoming a part of the league and being there, being up front and working hard on all the things that you're working with and becoming one with some of my friends, people who I've grown up with. I'm so happy that you've come to know them close like I have, and it's been awesome. I'm so glad that I got to share this experience with you, and it's been fantastic. Give it a hand for Vice Captain Straw, everybody. And to finish it off, I think I just had the Raptors mentality going into every single game. I had these three things that I think about every single game, and I want every single one of my players to think about it when going into them. It's, what can I do better than the last game? And if you haven't played, then guess what? You have no expectations. It's perfect. You can do as bad as you want or as good as you want. In the next game, you just come out and try your best. Next, how can I use all my cards and my spawn to their fullest potential? It's hard. It's a difficult challenge, but it's something that helps you win. If you're able to use your defensive card the best that you can, it'll help you sustain into the end game. And then finally, there's always a win. Look for it. Make sure that you search for that win. Don't give up. It matters a lot. Even if you have just your lowest tier card, you can find that revive. It's possible. Enigma pulled it off. We had the Hadestown revive, and Magneto made everything happen exactly how he wanted it, putting all the opponents underneath the fists. And then we had an amazing season, and honestly, this season is not credited to me. It's not even just credited to Enigma. It's to everyone on the stage. We couldn't have won without a team. We couldn't have won without the pack. And I think that I couldn't have asked for a better way to end the season. It's been amazing. Thank you very much. And let's look forward to the rest of the night.
Fantastic. Oh, they're getting a little screenshot there. Let's go. Dripped out. That's right. That's right. Give it up for the Raptors one more time, everybody. Incredible year. Incredible year. Now, obviously, we had to start with them because they are the champions. Whether we like it or not, they're better than us, at least until next season begins. But as we were saying, Board Wars isn't just about who wins. Now, as you can tell, based off of the amount of shiny things we have on stage, we like to celebrate success. But what matters more than success is celebrating the relationships we've built throughout the course of the season. And Board Wars has changed a lot of people's lives. And up next, I want somebody to come up who has been impacted a lot by the game, who has led his team in an incredible way. And I think the shocking success of this team that he has led is a great allegory for his trajectory in this game, and I think in his trajectory in life. Everyone give it up for one of my favorite guys in this room, the one and only JD.
Thank you guys. So yeah, like Gus said, he was kind of asked me to come up here and kind of talk about how Board Wars has positively affected my life. You know, obviously it's a board game, but I think more importantly, there's the community aspect, which we find and hold very dear to our heart. I was thinking about, you know, how I would talk about this. Obviously, board's been around for many years, so there's a lot of stuff I could talk about. But, you know, I was thinking about maybe I'll just start with maybe the beginning, how I got into Board Wars, and just kind of see the contrast there. I remember it was my junior year, and Board Wars was just coming around. Season 1 hadn't even started yet. I just actually given my life to Christ, and I'd be, thank you, yeah. And if you don't know the youth group ZAP, right at this church over here, I began going there a lot more. If you don't know, Gus was a leader there, and he still is. And he had invited me, and he was like, you know what? I have this board game that I just created. I would like you to play it. I wasn't that big into board games. I didn't really know what he was talking about. I wasn't that interested. But I was like, you know what? I'll give it a try. I was kind of just being nice to him. But I remember there was one weekend I was just sitting at home. It was a Saturday night. Wasn't really doing anything. He hit me up. He was like, yo, playing the board game again. I'm like, you know, I got nothing else better to do. I show up. I remember it was Gideon was there. John Mark was there. Joel was there, and Gus was there. I had no clue what was going on. I didn't really like the game, but I'll be honest, but I really enjoyed the fact that, you know, Gus reached out to me and was like, you know what, I want him to play this game, and it was kind of intrigued me a little bit that he actually wanted me to be there. Fast forward, I was at Zap, and Gus came up to me really excited, and he was like, you've been drafted. He was like, do you know what team you're on? And I was like, I have no clue what this guy's talking about. I didn't even know that there was a draft, there was a league. I guess I missed that part. I guess he didn't tell me. I don't know, he just threw me on a team. He told me I was on the Mama Llama. He told me John Mark was the captain. I knew a little about John Mark, but not that much. So I was like, you know what, I'll give this a try. But that first season, I just remember, you know, John Mark invited me to his house a lot. We just play games. Most of the time, just him and me. And if you don't know, Mama Llamas, we sucked season 1. At the beginning, so we lost a lot. We lost a lot. Yep, Caleb knows. Caleb does not like the llamas, but we lost a lot. But I think what the important thing was for me was, you know, I would just get there every day. You know, even if I had a rough week, John Mark would just talk to me about the day. We'd sit down, play Board Wars, and just have a fun time. And it was kind of those little things, but it meant a lot to me. I looked up John Mark, and it was a great time for me just to be around someone older than me that was a Christian that I looked up to. And along with that, we also had Bible studies with Gus and Gideon, John Mark, and it was just a part of my time where I was growing a lot, and those guys in my life kind of showed me the way. They kind of set a path forward for me. They believed in me. They saw things in myself that I didn't, and they kind of just pushed me forward. And in terms of Board Wars, which was part of the game, but also just in the community, whether it was through ZAP, the youth group, it was Kids of Victory, which is a camp here at Southgate, and all those things. They believed in me, and they pushed me to be a better person, and just to be a better leader. You know, and through that year, There's a lot of growing. It was very similar to season 2 where I just began to grow, even spiritually, mentally, and it was Boris just meant so much to me in that way, and I couldn't have asked for anything better. And I guess so that's kind of where it's affected me. And after season 2, obviously I got a little bit better at the game, I guess you would say. Just a little bit. Gus asked me to be a captain. I was excited. No, that's a cool thing. But I was a little sad. I was like, no, I leave the Llamas and all those guys. I love being around them. You know, I'll give it a chance. I'll give it a chance. And you know, I could have been more happier. You know, season 3 with the Astro Bears has been awesome. I think no one really expected us to be very good. I feel like, you know, I remember Gideon dissing on my vice captain Max Power. We saw him in a practice game one time, and he was like, "This is your vice captain? You guys are gonna suck. You're gonna suck." Little do you know that Max actually started locking in and actually liked the game. If you don't know, Max went on winning 2 games. So Gideon was wrong. Gideon was wrong, like he always is. Yes, Gideon always wrong. But the season was amazing. I went off to Missouri State. We had a few guys there. Obviously, Vice Captain Max Power was there. Cheddar Bob was there, and Parker Klein. Us forward there. We were a dynamic squad. I think the season we started off a little rocky. First game, Papa Bear, who unfortunately isn't able to be here, was a big cornerstone of that team. He was the oldest guy. I guess you could say he was the unk of the team. I think everyone else on the team was college aged, and he had a guy who was married with a kid. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here, but Dan was awesome. He lost that first game, but Max came in the second game, won us the game, and the Astro Bears, we started to feel a little more excited. We're like, you know what? Maybe we could be actually a little bit better at this game. Maybe we could actually win some games to start building some confidence. And just throughout the season, I saw people enjoying the game more, but also just building in a community just because of the game. Just the ability to have conversations, just meet together, whether it was Parker or Cheddar Bob, and then even down the line, we got to Christmas break. We had our guys over there, Josh Turner, Lil T, and Donzie 6 over there. You know, unfortunately, they both got 4th place. I'm gonna be honest. They got 4th place. It was their first games ever, but I just want to say they were facing 7 captains, and the other player was the GOAT, Dr. Luke. So I would not hold that against them. That was not on them. That was not on them. But after that, we won a few more games. We had Cheddar Bob was a great player. He was my roommate and me and Max, and unfortunately he isn't here right now. I don't know where Cheddar Bob is. He's lost. He said he was supposed to be here, but he's not here right now. But I really want to talk about Ben in front of him. It's been such a joy getting to know Ben. I knew he was going to Missouri State, and I knew him from KV, but I didn't know too much about him. But over this past year, he's grown to be one of my best friends, partly because of Board Wars and probably just going to Missouri State. But I think Board Wars kind of brought us together in that sense, and it's just been a real joy. And I think just overall, for the Ash Boys season, I couldn't have asked for a better season. Unfortunately, we weren't able to come away with this cup. The fact that these players were able to come together and we were able to have just a fun time and even get to the playoffs, we barely scraped in, and just being able to have a chance at winning it, I think it brought us a lot closer together. And I'm really excited for the next season to come. Thank you.
Yeah, so JD mentioned that he got a little bit better going from season 1 to 2. About that, at some point here, we are going to be handing out awards, right? And one of those awards is the most coveted at all, the incredible MVP award. And you're going to see JD again. Let's just say that. He accomplished some really good things that second season, and the Astro Bears were dealt a really difficult hand coming into this year, being a new team. I am the commissioner. I'm the GM this season. But last year, I founded a team called the Purple Dragons. So I know how hard it is to build a team from nothing. You have nothing, and you are trying to make a culture. You're trying to get the right guys. You're trying to get the right vibes. And it starts pretty rough. For me, I think my first game was like man, it was one of my first games maybe, but it was like Jonathan Schrader, who, if you don't know him, he's like 30 or something with a kid. And it was me, and then it was my Zap kid, Brent Ritter, who was like, I don't know, 16 at the time, maybe 15, something like that. But like me, this kid, and this 30-year-old man, and like this was the Dragons. It is difficult, and JD has just done an incredible job. And in my absence, that team that I created has been carried on in an incredible way by a very talented man that you're going to get to hear speak right now. Give it up for everybody, Indiana Jones.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, it is good to be here. It is good to be a part of this league. Like Gus said, the Purple Dragons had humble beginnings. I remember, I don't know if it was the first game, but going over to the McReynolds house, his grandparents, being in their basement, my first exposure to Board Wars, just watching Gus play, trying to act like I was helping in some way, but I was not. And then a year from then, Gus was like, "Hey, do you want to be the captain of the Purple Dragons?" I was like, "Oh, yes, sure." And here we are. But I'm so glad I took that opportunity because it has been such an awesome experience. And it would be remiss not to mention, the impact that going from having a captain who is literally the creator of the game to having a captain who has 1 year of experience with the game, sort of, and going into the season, I was like, all right, we're going to have to work for this. And we had just come off the playoffs. I think we had at least, we had one playoff win, I think, that playoff. So it was a really good season for the Dragons, not that it was an easy season and we weren't winning every game, but we got into the playoffs and we won a game and we were there the whole way. So going into this next season, it was like expectations were high. The ability to deliver on those expectations was probably not as high as people would have expected, simply because we lost a totally the most valuable player that we could have lost in our captain. But all that aside, it was still a spectacular season for the Purple Dragons, and it was in a weird way like a rebuilding year once you had just been built, but it was a good year. And one of my favorite things about this season was some of the new guys to the team, getting to know them. Silas, Sigazale, and Tribesman, Josh, Jed, Jude, all the guys who were new to the team. I want to shout out Josh in particular. One thing that we try to be super big about at the Dragons, just because we love it when everyone shows up, is that we are always going to have food. That is not an expectation for you captains. Like if you can't afford to provide everyone with food, that is not like an expectation to be a part of Board Wars or something. But that is something we were like, this is going to be our thing. It'll be like crappy pizza, but there will be food. And Josh was a big part of making that happen. I was commuting back and forth from Rolla a lot. Sometimes I'd be scrambling to make it to a game on Friday night. But Josh was a super big help in that. So thank you, Josh. You were a super great addition. And on top of that, Josh, before the season even started, he was working on literal computer applications for the Purple Dragons that would calculate damage and all of these other secrets that I can't tell you because they would expose how we do anything good, but he was such a great contributor to the team, and yeah, thank you, Josh, for everything you did for the Purple Dragons this season. But I can say so many good things about so many of the people on our team. Isaac, he was I would say he was probably the beating heart of the Purple Dragons this season, our vice captain. You know, I was really trying to play a role this season of like, I want to make sure that the team has what it needs to succeed. It's probably not going to be me that is the centerpiece of our success, but I just want them to succeed. And Isaac, I would say, was leading the charge on so many of those games with making sure people were like all aware of what's happening, making sure that like, are we all on the same page here? Like, are we looking at all of our options? And you know, so many people were doing that as well, but Isaac, the entire season, he was at the heart of that. So good from him. And I want to shout out Jed and Silas. I would be just going through my week, and then I'd see these character suggestions popping in the chat. And I was like, I honestly, like, I think that was why Sigazale got his first couple of games, is because I was like, this man is seriously thinking about Board Wars. I feel like he has such an understanding of this game by now just because he suggested so many characters at this point. But anyway, I don't want to go super long, but this season was so much fun. We had some really good games. We had some games that were almost really good. We had some really bad games. But all of it came together to just be like a really great experience for our team. I feel like it brought us together. We got our own mascot now. All I'm going to say is the Dragons this season, I felt like we got really close together. And look out, because now we're like a really tight-knit team, but we've also learned a ton this season and grown as a group. And I have just really high expectations for what this next season is going to be. And I'm super proud to be a Purple Dragon. So thank you all.
But a large Chevrolet. My mama taught me wrong from right. I was born in the South. Sometimes I have
Ian, everybody. Wow. Ian is such a dependable guy, man. I mean, I knew that when I was making that decision that, you know, because it's hard for me, right? You name a team very vainly after yourself. If you don't know, I'm the Purple Dragon. And like, this is my baby, and in some ways this is a symbol of me, I guess. I need to make sure this team is in the right hands, and I couldn't have picked a better guy. I really couldn't have. So awesome to see Ian leading that team. And Ian had a lot of change to handle this season. Losing me, but he also lost a very important player that won Rookie of the Year. And that was kind of insane. The team that is about to go up next is a team that has also gone through a lot of change. They had completely rebuilt their team in the draft, aiming young and assembling it from scratch. And in order to help them with that, they actually traded for that man. And you are about to hear that captain speak right now. Well, at least as much as he can. Give it up, everybody, for the one and only Drew.
First comes the blessing of all that you've dreamed, but then comes the curses of
Hello, everybody. I'm a little sick right now, as you can probably hear, so I will not be doing quite as much talking. That being said, I actually want to invite my team up now because I wanted to have each of them say a little word, because they're all very important and also because I can't talk. So. Before I let them speak, though, I do just want to say, I know, last season, the Beavers looked completely different. We were on our second season in a row of, okay, we have to figure this out, and we did not figure it out with the last team composition. And Gus approached me and said, you know, what would you think about just completely redoing it? And I was a little skeptical at first, but the more I looked at it, the more it made sense. And we, you know, I'm saying got a bunch of young guys, and all of them are taller or as tall as me. But we brought them in, and it was genuinely the best decision I could have made. You know, like looking over past this season, we had 290 overalls on this team, and I wasn't even one of them. I was in Europe for half of the season, and I didn't even have to worry about the games, which was a far cry from last year where I had to scramble almost weekly to see if somebody would even sit down at a computer for a game, much less play it well. And this year I just didn't have to worry about it. And, you know, this was a rebuild in many ways, but it doesn't feel right calling this a rebuild season with some of the amazing stuff that I saw this season. So I guess that's a good time to sort of go down the line with each, you know. I invited them up here to each just share something that they like this season, because I think, you know, every team is more than their captain, but the Beavers especially are much more than their captain. So I think to like really give a recap on the Beavers, it's important to hear the Beavers themselves speak.
I had an absolute privilege and pleasure being on the Beavers this year. It was a very hard decision leaving my Dragons, which I still think about and cherish. I miss that crappy pizza. And and I miss that community, but I am so glad I made the change, because the community that I've built with these guys has been so incredible. Like getting to connect with the guys that I don't know as well, like with Charlie Klein and Israel Schofield, who I kind of know, but I got to know so much more through the game, which is the beauty of Board Wars, I believe. And I think the greatest thing that we did as a team together was the night that we all met up at my house. It was kind of just all over the place, and it wasn't exactly planned out thoroughly, but everybody showed up. We even had a Jelly Jet who wasn't playing, John Avila, show up and help us out. And that was so incredible. And just the intensity, like that night fully captures what I love about Board Wars so much. It's the intensity, the cooperation and the strategy. And it just had everything that I love about Board Wars in one night. The fellowship, the community, and just the fun that Board Wars has. And I've loved every minute. And I won, that's true.
Well, this season, this is my third year as a Beaver. Unfortunately, I was not very present this year. I had lots of stuff going on and did not have a whole lot of time where I was able to play and really just be at games. But when I was, I remember later in the season, I went to one of Drew's games, and when I was there, like I showed up a little late because I was somewhere else before, and there were already people there. They already had stuff out. They filled me in so quickly. Like everyone I talked to, they would always be telling me about how the season was going when I wasn't even like locked in. So we were like, everyone was so locked in and just so ready. And like, I know Charlie, I don't even know. This is your first year, right? Yeah. Charlie went off and went crazy. He was telling me how he beat John Avila, and John hated that. And this entire team, just everyone did so well, and it was a great season.
This was not my first official season being a part of Board Wars. My first season, I was on, I believe, the Raptors. Didn't do a thing, didn't play a game, didn't make an appearance even in the chat of the Discord. And then I heard from Gus that I got traded to the Beavers and didn't know what to do because I had no idea what the game was about. My first experience with the game was watching Charlie play before he became Baby Bucky, but he was really living out what it meant to be a Beaver and what it meant to be Baby Bucky by absolutely gnawing on a pool noodle throughout the game. And it was just a great experience. Also, I want to deny any allegations of him being my son. I'm Bucky, he's Baby Bucky. He's not my son, he's my little brother. Not my kid.
This season was just such a fun season. I had the pleasure of being at almost all the Board Wars games for the Beavers this year. And I just remember getting a phone call from Drew and Gus and just being like, hey, do you want to be the vice captain of the Beavers? And I was like, wait, but why me? You've got Brent, who handled, like, who's not a rookie, first of all. And then you've got Jackson, who was also handling other stuff. And I was like, wait, but why me? And then I was like, oh, I guess it kind of makes sense. I mean, I'm able to show up. Like, I was like, there's so many other people who are qualified or more qualified than me to be the vice captain. But I'm just very glad that, you you guys chose me, and I'm very honored, and I'm just very grateful for this Beaver season.
One of my favorite things that I probably did this season, well, it was having the pleasure of playing with Israel Schofield. Favorite game of the season, just me and him in his basement. Not a clue on how to play Board Wars, and we got steamrolled. I think we dealt 0 damage that game, or like 50. Not 0, but like 50. It was horrible. And as Israel said, he went to almost every game, and I had the pleasure of him being at all my games. And every single game, slowly and slowly, we started working better together as a team. We progressed, we played better, and just being able to see like how much we grew together with our relationship, our teamwork, and our skills. It was just an amazing sight to see.
Can I get one more round of applause for all the great Beavers behind me? Yeah. Photo.
Incredible.
Beavers in 2 next year.
Oh, big claims there from Beaver Nation. That's incredible. It's incredible. Now, I know you guys are kind of itching with anticipation to unveil where these incredible trophies are going. But we have one team left before we get to that we have to hear how their season went, and it was a pretty good season. Now, we've had a couple teams come up here, and they've had highs, they've had lows. This team has no idea what a low feels like because they have never not been on top. Of course, I'm talking about the Los Cuties. Give it up for the captain of the Los Cuties, Caleb Ward.
If I had known that this song was going to be the walkout for the Cuties as a representation, might have picked something else. But hey, I think it works for the Cuties as well. So I guess reflection, like Gus said, it's hard to really point to a time when we weren't in a good position, or I wish. There was a quick a bit in the season. So to start off really hot, everybody's like, wow, these Cuties, they get the job done. 3 wins, boom, bang, pow, we on top. And then we went through 18 weeks, 7 games of not winning. And there was a point in time where even I was like, wow. I mean, I think we're one of the most dominant teams. I think we're some of the best guys. How do we not have a win? And thankfully, we got that win. We still made the playoffs. So we did good. I think this was a bit of a unique year for us. We added a lot of new guys who we couldn't have got through the season without. Shout out all of the Goosewell brothers, who basically kept this Cuties chain moving along, because literally without them, there were times when it was like, who's gonna play this game? Because we're in a unique circumstance. A lot of these guys, I'm looking out at you guys, a lot of young zappers, young talent, and we're the UNC squad. And every single one of us is either working full-time, in school full-time, and so we have a lot of responsibility in our hands. And so I think early in season 1, Cuties set the precedent of meeting every single time to play together as a team. We got Los Cuties HQ, and that was really what allowed us to thrive as much as we did. And progressed to season 2, season 3, especially you saw that to really dwindle a lot. We didn't get to meet as much, but I would also like to say that I feel like that made the times when we did get together as a team that much more meaningful. It was truly a pleasure getting to meet the Goosewells and play with them. I'd never met them before. John Avila actually showed up to one of our games and made that connection for us. So thank you, John. Shout out. And I also would like to say that I really couldn't have done this without Gus. Gus was working behind the scenes to like really help us as a team as well, because Luke transitioning the captainship over to me, well, we're both also equally as busy. Luke more than me, but I'm busy as well, and Gus really took a lot of the stress off my shoulders with helping me plan, helping me find people for games. So I think it was a really successful season for us still. We made the playoffs for, well, I can't remember the last time we didn't make the playoffs. Thank you. But obviously didn't get the dub. So moving forward, I think we'll just continue to play our game, and we have a lot of strong additions here in the offseason. I'm really looking forward to this next year, where hopefully some scheduling conflicts will clear up, and Los Cuties is getting some renovations done right now. I think that moving forward in the future, we'll have yet another season of Cuties dominance. In Los Cuties fashion, we ended it on top. So thank you.
Full aboard, everybody. Incredible. Now, as Caleb said, I have done a lot this year, and I would be remiss if I didn't take a second to talk about my role before we move on to the awards. There have been some times this season where things have been hard. Every season's like that. It's actually gotten better as time has gone on, as that's usually how things are supposed to go, right? But there have been times where being a commissioner was really difficult. You're trying to manage every circle that you can. You're trying to help and serve every person you can. There's a lot of rules to remember in Board Wars, and if you forget one of them, it can be really hard. That being said, I had a lot of help this season. I want to give a couple really important shout outs to people who made my life easier and who helped actually make Board Wars work. Because it's a lot more than just me. I'm going to get a lot of the credit, and you know what? I can accept that. I'm happy with that. I can receive some credit. That's okay. Thank you. And I love you, random citizen. That's a Megamind reference. I'm not mean. Thank you. I hope the people on the stream can hear the applause and they don't think I'm just, thank you. At ease. Thank you. But I had a lot of support this year. I really did. I want to give a huge shout out to a guy who in many ways is my right hand when the season is going on. If there's an issue, he's there. I was in a really difficult spot this week with my wife and some health-related things, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to be here for a while. Now, fortunately for everybody, that happened, right? I was able to actually be here, and I would be really sad to miss this, so I'm very happy. But if I wasn't, he would be here talking to you, and he's a guy who's done a lot of things. Please give a round of applause for my man, Gideon. Gideon has done so much. He's done so much, not only for his team, but for your team. And I can say that for a matter of fact. Straw in the front row here is working on this really cool thing where we can make cards really fast. Trivia, who knows how many cards are in Board Wars? Yes, 400. Who do you think made 400 cards? Fun fact, I made probably about 300 of them, and then we decided they looked bad. And I think it was last season, right, Gideon? We had to make all 400 again, and Gideon did that. Gideon has helped with so many things behind the scene that he's never going to get credit for, but I would be completely remiss if I ended tonight's ceremony without shouting him out. Another huge shout out to a guy that helped a lot of teams. I mean, he was just mentioned over there, but everyone give it up for Mr. Java, please. Mr. Java is incredible. He absolutely filled where he needed to. He aided me in assisting all of your teams in their times of need, and he also made this year happen. And the amazing thing about this league is as it keeps growing and growing, and we got like 100 people that want to be in the draft next year. That's great. I can't do everything. And as somebody who likes to be able to do everything, it's a little scary. But I'm so lucky to be in a room full of passionate, talented people that can help us do this. Someone said earlier, I'm the person who made the game, but this isn't my game, this is our game. Sigazale over there is going to have half the cards, come from his head at the rate that he's suggesting things and blowing up my phone, which I appreciate. I read every one of them. It's partially true. But those were my shout-outs for the evening, and I think it is important now that we get to the main events here, these incredible awards. I hope the mic is nice to me here. And where should we start, guys? What award do we want to see crowned first? Well, sorry to say, it might have to be the MVP. Now, I mentioned a little bit earlier, that somebody once upon a time won this award, and they're going to come up here and announce the winner here tonight in this incredible envelope written by Indiana Jones. Give it up for the captain of the Astro Bears and former MVP, JD.
Like I said, I did win MVP last year, and historically, we kind of leave it kind of last. We kind of build up the hype, but we decided this year we're going to start off with a bang. Obviously, MVP is the most prestigious award we have. It encompasses everything, offensively, defensively, and it's in the name, most valuable. We look at the stat sheet, who's all the way at the top 9 overall, but we're also going to look at things you don't see, like who actually is in charge of the team, who's actually helping the most game by game throughout the season. We have 4 nominees for this award, all of them deserving, only one can get it. I'm going to name one by one. First nominee is from the Smoky Salamanders, Goober. Goober had an amazing season, one of the most dominant defensive player regular season we have ever seen, 3 wins in the regular season. Amazing year for him. Second nominee is from the Ruby Raptors, Enigma. Enigma, if you don't know, he got talked a lot from the Raptors. Didn't only win the regular season, but also came in clutch in the playoffs, winning Game 5, one of the most prestigious games to win. The third nominee is the GOAT, Dr. Luke. Dr. Luke, once again, had an amazing season. You can never doubt the doctor, and obviously he had to be nominated. Lastly but not least, the fourth nomination is from the Purple Dragons, Piano Man. Piano Man had also an amazing season, one of the most offensive regular seasons we have seen. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make the playoffs, although we would have really hoped to see that because there's so much more from Piano Man that we can see. Whoops, I dropped it. Hopefully no one saw that. But there can only be one winner for the MVP. For drum roll, please. For Season 3 of Board Wars, the MVP, the most valuable player of the year, is Enigma from the Ruby Raptors. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. So, I'm Enigma. I've played 2 seasons so far. Last season, I went 1-1, so pretty decent overall. My introduction to Board Wars was through Caden. He invited me. We used to work at Domino's together, so we met there. Yeah. And then, yeah, we didn't make playoffs last year. We were not doing too hot. You were working hard on learning the game. Yes, we were learning. So this season, after an extremely lackluster start from me, where I went 0-5 with a grand total of 0 damage, I had achieved the highest damage in a single game and the highest kill count in a single game my very next game. On top of that, in the finale, I was up against the best of the best. You had Caleb Ward, the current #1 player in the ratings, as well as holder of the overall damage record. You had Slushy, also known as the Legend Killer, with both an offensive and defensive player of the year award. And finally, there was JD, a previous MVP and captain of the Astro Bears. Being able to triumph against all odds and take home the cup was such an incredible experience. Being up here and earning MVP was only possible because of the people supporting me during my games. Caden and Strahl were there nearly every game this season, giving me tips and suggestions on how to best play from our current board states. Mr. Java has also invited me to multiple practice games. I wish I could have made more, but the ones I could made were great. Me being up here just shows how important it is that you build a community, not just with your own team, but with others as well. This reward belongs not only to me, but to the entirety of the Ruby Raptors. Raptor Pack on top.
That was fantastic, everybody. Yeah. Oh, did I not give it to him? Okay. You don't just get the title of MVP, you also get this incredible award. Give it up one more time for the MVP Enigma. Great job. Now, I will say, there might be a little storyline going on next season because he just said Raptors on top. That was another team's catchphrase, and maybe the plot thickens between these two rivalries. That's a little insane. I'm going to remember to grab the trophy this time. And I think next, what else could we celebrate other than Captain of the Year? Captain of the Year, everybody. Now, even though I was an incredible captain, I am not the person who's going to be reading this off as another incredible captain who, next year we're going to see a little bit more of, and he's going to remind you how dangerous he is. One of my favorite guys there is the one and only Drew.
Hello, everybody. Captain of the Year is an important award. Being captain is not an easy thing to do, and being a captain can look many different ways. But all the people nominated tonight are people that, of all the ways that being a captain can look, the way that they do it looks really, really good. And you can see the way that they've sort of impacted their team. They're sort of like, the way that their teams get along is really obviously thanks to how they lead their teams. The nominations this year for Captain of the Year are first Gideon, who is one of the most important people to Board Wars. He's been present for every single meeting that I've been at, and probably many, many more. If Gus isn't the one calling me to try and get stuff done, it's Gideon. In many ways, in my mind, he's kind of like a second commissioner of this league, and he definitely deserves to be up here tonight. Next is Caden. Who in just a few short years here has really had this sort of meteoric climb to success, to all the way to his team winning the league for the year, which is such an incredible accomplishment. Caden's done a lot to really establish himself, from good gameplay, having a close team, to silly things like the red suit that he's worn 2 years in a row, which I think is awesome. It makes me jealous. But Caden has just not only improved as a captain, but become genuinely one of the greatest in the league. So next up is JD. Who has sort of a similar story to Caden. Not that long ago, JD was not even all that familiar with the concept of Board Wars. And here he is today, one of the most important people in the league. He runs the podcast. He's important to so many people who play the game, and like this league does not look the same without JD here, as evidenced just a little bit earlier. So I mean, once again, just another great captain, and of course his team. It really shows how great of a leader he is, because that seems like such a great team to be a part of. And finally, the last captain up for nomination tonight, Ian Deanna Jones. Yet another newer captain. But I think that just really goes to show that, like, Ian specifically, but lots of the captains tonight, besides Gideon, he's old. Really take it seriously to be a captain. They've recently been given the title, and they've taken it to heart and worked so hard. Ian, I know, drives all the time to make sure that he can be at every game. It's starting to sound tired me saying this, but like his team gets along so incredibly well. I think the 4 teams, the 4 captains tonight have some of the like best team cultures. I think all 4 of these guys are such incredible leaders. But without further ado, let's find out who's the best of the year. This year's captain of the year is JD. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Hello again, everyone. I feel like I've been up here a lot. First of all, before I get even into it, just want to thank my girlfriend and her cousin. Without them, me and Max would not be able to be at any of these games, so first I want to give them a shout out. They definitely did not make me do that. They definitely didn't make me do that. But no, I appreciate it, guys. Boars means so much to me. It's a big part of my life. I remember on the Llamas, John Mark was my captain, and he was kind of the reason I started to love the game so much in the community, just how much he enjoyed it, and it kind of passed on to me. And when I was asked to become a captain, that's something I tried to replicate. I knew how much I loved the game, but a lot of my players hadn't really played the game that much, or were in the league the season before and just weren't that connected to their team. So my goal coming this season was just to try to make it as fun as possible, enjoyable as possible. Try to hype them up every game, try to build them a strategy, put them in the best position. Because getting 4th place isn't fun. If you want to win board wars, that's how you have fun. You got to win the games, then you start to enjoy it. So I wanted to make sure we start off hot. We won games early on. Dan played great, Chatterbell played great, Max got some games, and I think as the season went on, I think the team just started to love the game, which meant a lot to me because I knew how much it meant to me. I knew how much work I put into it, and I just wanted them to enjoy it just as much as me. This award, it's Captain Year, has my name on it. It's actually not this one, but it's a different award. But it says Caleb Award actually, but that's a different one. No, anyways, doesn't matter. The Captain Year Award that's over there isn't just mine. It's for my team. It resembles how well the Astro Bears this season, how much as players they grew, going from Parker and Max from previous teams losing and not having any wins and only playing a few games to coming this season just being super involved, and even the rookies. Oh yes, let's see. Yes, this one says JD. Yes, this one. This is Captain of the Year. Yeah, so this award is just as much theirs. It is mine. Just want to shout out the Astro Bears. We had an amazing season. All you guys were great, and I'm just so much excited for this upcoming season because we're looking for that Legacy Cup Season 4. Thank you, guys.
Is going to win that award? A little bit of a spoiler alert, guys. And it might be this one, who knows? The next award, ladies and gentlemen, is a really awesome one, Offensive Player of the Year. Now, one of my favorite things about Board Wars is you can kind of play however you want. There's a lot of creativity in the strategy where some other games, like you have to maximize the system. Board Wars, you can kind of win almost any way you can think of. You can win by killing people. You can win by not dying. And you can win by getting a lot of items and maybe getting lucky or opening a box. JD knows a lot about winning from opening boxes. But these players that we're about to talk about play a very certain way, but I can't explain it because I am not the greatest of all time. Luckily for us, we have the GOAT in the house tonight. Please, everyone, give it up for the one, the only, Dr. Luke.
Oh, did you say offensive? Offensive. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I'll keep that in mind. We have the right one here. You know, recently I was thinking about, this is unrelated, but one day, very recently I realized if I ever feel down, I can just look in my Discord and there's an army of people who are very willing to glaze me. So thank you all for that. But enough about me. Let's get into this award. So, Offensive Player of the Year. I think this takes some really not only aggressive players but very creative minds too. I think in order to be able to put out some insane output in damage or kills, you really need to be able to maximize your cards or really just make things work. It takes a lot of flexibility, ingenuity, creativity, a lot of just a lot of really cool things. And this year we had some pretty insane, I guess I should read off the, I guess I'll explain how crazy this year was as I read off each of the nominees. But the first one we have is Slushy. Now, Slushy's been known as one of the more aggressive players for a little while, except for last year, for some reason, when he was an insane defensive player. But let's see. I think Slushy, was it this year that you had 34 kills? Was that this year or your first year? It's very rare to cross 30 kills, and he got 34 this year. And he put himself up into second place with most kills of all time at 74. And last year, I set the record for most damage dealt in a season at 3,332. 3 guys beat that, so, but he was one of them, and he beat it pretty handily at 3,400. Next up, we have Enigma. Now, this would be a spoiler alert if a certain name wasn't already read off, but Enigma already won MVP, so he's not allowed to win this. But he had a pretty insane season himself. He also, he broke the record for most damage dealt in a game at over 1,600 damage, and I believe it was also most kills dealt in a game at 16, I think. Pretty absurd. Next up, we got Caleb Ward over here. Now, if my record was broken, my record last year was broken, Caleb smashed it. I had at 3,300 damage. He had over 4,100. I don't know if anyone's ever going to beat that. We'll see it, but he had a pretty insane season himself and had 39 kills, one short of the record in a season, which is absurd. And lastly, we have Piano Man. Now, Piano Man, another just insane rap sheet. One nice thing about Offensive Player of the Year is you can kind of look at the stat sheet to tell you who should really be up for this award, and for good reason, because it's really hard to just continue to get these insane stats. But he only was able to play 3 games because his team didn't make the playoffs, whereas some of our other candidates played 5. But he had 21 kills and dealt over 1,700 damage, which is really insane. It was also he was just up for MVP, so that really tells you everything you need to know about how amazing he was this year. But without further ado, although this was a little spoiled earlier, everybody please get a drum roll going. And our 2026 Offensive Player of the Year is Caleb Ward.
Wow, this is a shocker. I think for all of us, I never expected winning this award. Wow. Okay, all jokes aside, it really does mean a lot to win this award. I think I've been up for awards in the past, but never come away with anything. So it did really mean a lot for me to finally have something to put under my resume. Is like, yeah, people have to respect me now. I don't even. What? Thank you, Hodgepodge. Maybe I should get an award named after me, like. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, this year was a lot of fun. Obviously, I had a lot of success, which was awesome, rebounding after last year, where even though we had major success as a team, I myself didn't come away. I don't think I came away with a win. I think I was 0-3 last year. So I think a lot of these times, I'll even get close to winning. This last year was just crazy, didn't win. But this year I got 3 wins. And I broke some records, apparently. But I liked the way that Luke put it, that the Offensive Player of the Year really goes to someone who thinks creatively and can find the plays that work. And that's really what I try to do every single time I play. I wasn't necessarily keeping in mind I don't even know the records that I broke, apparently. I was just trying to play the game to the best of my ability and have fun doing so. So this year, I had a bit of a twitch, and I was like, dang, I want to kill some people. So I went in and did that, and it got me an award. So thank you to everybody, Board Wars community, and special shout out to Mystic Elevator.
Great job. Incredible player. Great at blowing up your team and making you unhappy. He's not going to win the sportsmanship award, I'll tell you what. Even if he physically could. The next award we are going to announce is the polar opposite of the Offensive Player of the Year, the Defensive Player of the Year. Very exciting. This award is the opposite. And, Luke mentioned that you can really statistically measure when somebody has an offensive performance. You can't really do that with defense. You know it when you see it, or you could try measuring it like some do because of the lack thereof of offensive stats and metrics. But nevertheless, these players have adapted a style that is very popular in the modern day, and they have mastered their craft. And even though it's not as flashy, it wins a lot. And we are about to announce these names, but, I'm not very good at announcing names. That's why they kick me off every time. Someone better at reading names does it. I mixed up the trophies. You can see the evidence of that. But luckily for me, I have the legend killer in the house with the devastating, terrifying cape. Welcome to the stage, Slushy.
I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Fire
Hello, hello. So, good evening. For those who don't know me, my name is Slushy. League champion, defensive player of the year, offensive player of the year, and vice captain of the Smoky Salamanders. I could go on and on, but today, as unfortunate as it is, we aren't here to talk about me. We're here to talk about the people who were on their A game this year. Whether they were game managing or ratting themselves into a defensive win. There's multiple ways to play defensive. It's all about the position you put yourself in. Whether it was flawless execution of a management, or if you had the unfortunate start and never gave up hope, Defensive Player of the Year is a title, but the means to the title can change. And these are this year's Defensive Player of the Years. All right, let's start there. First, we got Timothy Wright for the Raptors. So I started with Timothy because I had the unfortunate pleasure of playing against him in Game 3 of the playoffs, where he became literally Five Nights at Freddy's. That was not fun. It was literally one of the only moments where all three of the other teams will team up as one. So that just goes to show that, you know, they saw that I talked to Caden about it after. Yeah, they saw that they had Armageddon. That was their plan, all from the beginning. It was perfectly managed. Just, you know, it's just how they play the game. And shout out Timothy.
Tim has the healing record.
Whoa. 800 healing, 1800 healing in a game? 800 healing in a game. That's a stat. Max Power for the Bears. I think Max is a very special case of how a player can rise through board wars. From going from a very, very, very low overall to mid-90s and up for awards. I mean, it's impressive. I, again, had the unfortunate pleasure of captaining somebody that played against him, Tasty T, shout out you. And yeah, I think Max is just a great manager of the game. I think him and JD work well together as well. Yeah. I think these next two are very special to me, so I'm gonna just announce them at the same time. Goober and Gideon of the Smoky Salamanders. I think we can all agree that if a coin could have the same side on the same coin, it would be Goober and Gideon. They have, I play with them weekly. I have played with them with every game, and I still can't think the way that they do. The way that they can manage a game, keep their heads held up high, and I don't know, find a way to get out of any situation. Not only inspiring, but, you know, shout out defensive players for keeping that mindset. But, like every award prior, only one can be the winner. And the winner is Goober!
Thank you, everybody. For those of you who don't know, I'm Goober. Hi, everybody. So, I'll be honest. I went into this season and I really wasn't expecting much for myself. I was a one-win player going into the season, and I put some work in. But honestly, every year the competition gets better, and I think Gideon can probably attest to this. Every game I go into, I pretty much always expect to lose because, not gonna lie, I always play best whenever I've got really good competition, and I don't think I've ever gone into a game where I've had bad competition, which is say a lot about this league. On top of that, my first game this season, I ended up getting a rule named after me, which, again, didn't expect that to happen, but pretty proud of it. I mean, what's a game if you can't break it? So, I really, this entire season for me was just a lot of just planning, a lot of flexibility, and a lot of just letting things slide and letting things roll. And I can only really thank my team for that, because just having everybody there to talk with me, to kind of work through things, and just honestly keep me level-headed. I've got some plays. Gideon's probably heard about 1,000 of them, but I can only go so far on my own, and I feel like a lot of this award really belongs to them, because without them, I wouldn't have gotten to really anywhere, even here. So I want to thank them. I want to thank all of you, because without good competition, I don't even think I would be half the player I am today.
Give it up for Goober, everybody. Incredible stuff there this season. The next award here is an award that we've talked about kind of a lot tonight. The Most Improved Player Award. Players that were terrible and now are not. And in some ways, the terrible players that were of the past become the most incredible players of the future. The best players in Board Wars learn from their mistakes, and these guys have done that like none other. And the person who's going to be announcing these awards here today for you is the former Most Improved Player himself. Give it up, everybody, for Ryan Joggers.
I can feel it, I'm a beast, I'm an animal, I'm that monster in the mirror, the headliner, finisher, I'm the closer, winner, best when under pressure with seconds left, I show up.
Hello. How are y'all today?
Doing good, buddy.
Great. Okay. Most Improved Player of the Year award. I love this award, probably because I won it. I'm a little biased. What I love about this award is it takes not just what you did this year, but also what you did last year. So you could be awful, have a great season, and get Most Improved Player of the Award, Most Improved Player of the Year award. If there were an award for biggest fall off, I probably would have gotten that, because from year to year, anything can change. You can be awful and then be great the year after, because every year is a new year. And that's personally why I love this so much. And I did not prepare as well as everyone else did who has announced. So I'm just going to go straight into the nominees. We have number 1, Timothy Wright. Number 2, we have Straw. Number 3, we have Max Power. And number 4, we have Piano Man. Obviously, all of these guys we've already heard from tonight, which I think is just a testament to this award and everyone who's coming from this. Like, they are good players. You can't just come in and like, okay, you were awful last season, but you're all right this season. These are players who really stepped up and came to the top of the league. So without further ado, if you could all give me a drum roll, please. The winner is Piano Man.
You got us feeling alright.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I'm just super happy to be here tonight. There's so many familiar faces and so many people I haven't met yet that I know are very good Board Wars players. So just thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. It's good to see you guys. I guess I should start from last season. I remember my first game, I was in Gus's grandparents' house. We were just sitting on the couch eating pizza, and I had no clue what was going on. You know, I had the pleasure of being with an amazing captain, Gus Tepe. But yeah, I hadn't a clue of what I was doing. So yeah, my first couple games, I didn't really learn too much, and I wasn't really that interested in the game. But you know, there was a lot of people that season who were like, Isaac is not a good Board Wars player. I'm not going to give too many names, but I'm going to thank all those people. You know who you are. Because I'm someone who likes to be great at a lot of things. And, you know, that motivated me to be great at Board Wars. So yeah, this season, before the season started, I was like, you know what? I ended like 21st or something last season. I'm going to be a top 10 player. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to get in the top 10. And I ended up 4th. So yeah, it was pretty great this season. Yeah, I have a few people to thank. First of all, Gus. I mean, you've really helped me love this game. I think the biggest thing to be good at Board Wars, I mean, there's some things you just got like understand board games and stuff, but loving the game really motivates you to be a good player. So Gus has really helped with that. And my Purple Dragon team, we meet in the lair in Joel's basement every single time, and it's great. I love the Dragons so much. We're like absolute, like so close to each other. We're all brothers, and you know it's so good to be there every time. And yeah, our team this season, you know, we started off a little rough. We did not have many people who were good at the game, but you know, we rose up. We became one of the best teams, in my opinion. Yeah, probably the best team, but yeah, I'm so happy to be like I was nominated for 3 awards that felt amazing, but you know, this is the one that I wanted to win because I knew I was a terrible player last year, and I'm feeling pretty good this year. I feel pretty good about next year. So yeah, just thank you everyone so much.
Now John at the bar is a friend of mine.
What an incredible player. What an incredible song, by the way. Big Billy Joel guy here. And, man, we have seen some incredible players recognized, but a lot of these guys have kind of been established. You know, they've been playing for a couple years now. I think it's time to transition to an award that is only for the rookies. The Rookie of the Year award is very impressive to win. Board Wars is not an easy game to be good at quickly, and these people adapted way quicker than most. And this year was very rare because, you know, a lot of these rookies aren't just okay, but they are top players in the game with sometimes multiple wins, and it is a very competitive award to win. So please join me in welcoming the former Rookie of the Year, BR3 Freaky.
Hi guys. I am so happy to be here. By the way, that is my new Board Wars name. It went from being my full legal name, and me and Mr. Java were like, there's got to be something better. So there's a story behind BR3. It's a family legacy thing, but me and Mr. Java were like, there's still something more there. And we're like, we texted Gus, we're like, can we do BR3 Freaky? He was like, no, you can't do that. I'm glad he said it just now, but I was like, okay, so what's a workaround we can do? So on the games, you will see BR3 $0K, so free K. So BR3 free K, look out. And Rookie of the Year is something that I was so honored to receive last year. I mean, I had such an incredible guidance from an amazing captain, Gus Tepe. And I had such a great time falling in love with the game. And this year, I had been looking forward to see who might be the next Rookie of the Year. And I had always kind of thought that Rookie of the Year is the kind of award that you just get from like hiding in your captain's shadow, which is what I did. I really owe like all of my wins to Gus from that year. But I can guarantee you that all 4 of these nominees, they did not get it by hiding behind their captain. They got it by putting in the work, by putting in the effort, by showing some incredible skill and incredible knowledge of the game, and did something incredible. And I would like to share that with you now. First, we have Papa Bear, who is not here. We wish he was here. Papa Bear, you are missed. Next we have Meow Meow. And then we have Python. That was my unbiased vote, by the way. And then finally, my biased vote, Baby Bucky. All of you guys are incredible players, and it's been amazing seeing you guys grow and grow with you. And the Rookie of the Year award goes to Python.
Man, I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to win this award. I mean, last year, 1 year ago, at the award ceremony, I had never played a Board Wars game. I was only here because Mr. Java invited me, and I was like, hey, that sounds fun. And I saw Brent, BR3 Free K. He won this award, and I was like, man, you know, next year, I want that to be me. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to put hours into this game. And I put a undisclosed number of hours into the Google Doc. And let's just say I studied the game. And I had a lot of help from my team. Every game that I was there for and that I was playing, I had at least 2 people behind me, which some people can't say, and that's hard for scheduling reasons, but also I just want to thank the people that devoted a lot of time, Mr. Java and Wonder Boy, my younger brother, who really helped me win this award. I mean, honestly, I played the first game, and Mr. Java basically helped me win the whole thing. I had Technoblade, Never Dies, yeah. Favorite series card. But I'm just going to say this is a great season, and thank you to Mr. Java and Wonder Boy for helping me win this award.
She told my baby there's the 3, but she looked at me and showed a photo.
Good stuff.
Baby cried.
Awesome song there in the background. And then there were two. Up next is an award that is very near and dear to my heart. The Sportsmanship Award, which is named after a guy. That guy is named Hodgepodge. And Hodgepodge is probably the goodest to good guy you will ever meet, and he's everybody's favorite. So we decided when we were making Board Wars, we would make a rule that the award would be called the Hodgepodge Award, and therefore he can never win. Or, you know, we might have to every year just keep regurgitating his name. So he, in all of his humility, accepted this title. And, you know, tonight and in years past, you know, he has actually been the person to announce this award. But we were thinking, you know what? We need a fresh, nice guy in here. What better than the former Hodgepodge winner, the one and only Straw, everybody.
It keeps going. It keeps going. Hello, everybody. So Gus has already wonderfully explained this award. Hodgepodge, have you stood up yet when he was speaking about you? If not, could you please stand up? I mean, it's up to you. You know what? Just keep standing. Maybe for the rest of the night, we'll figure it out. So when I think of the Hodgepodge Award, I think of it as the person that, it's the really nice guy. You want to play the game with them, talk with them outside the game. You know, it's the people that when you finish the game, you're talking with them like 2-3 extra hours into Discord. It's getting to 2 a.m. and then you're finally like, okay, man, I got to go to bed. And you're all probably wondering, you know, how did this guy win the award? And I'm wondering that too. And I brought the answer for you. It was rigged. So it must also be said that the Hodgepodge Award kind of comes with a bit of a blessing. And that comes with that the first recipient of the award, I believe, was JD, which then the following season, he was MVP. And last year, I was the recipient of the award, and now I have my first win in the game as well as the cup. And as well as from last year, lost a lot of weight on stage, like, you know, new job. So there's a big blessing that can come with this. So there's a lot to think about with whoever's going to get this award, because we got to look out to who they are next year and who they are on this stage. So here's the nominees. We have Akio Dub, Pascalliwag, Bucky, and finally, Cereal. And without further ado, our winner is Cereal.
Hello, I'm Cereal, and I guess I'll start with me getting drafted because it was interesting in my first practice game. So basically, I just played my first practice game pretty much right before the draft, and I basically played a super aggressive early game, and then got, you know, pretty much obliterated after that, and had to leave. But the Beavers took a flyer on me at draft pick number 4, and I'm so thankful they did, because I was able to just have like such fun coaching the Beavers, you know, as the vice captain, and I was able to have so much fun hanging out with, you know, everyone who I played practice games with and played games with, and it was just such a fun year, and it was amazing to experience this even as a rookie, just coming into this community and being so accepted, and, you know, being such an integral part of, you know, all the different parts of Board Wars, like practice games, actual games, just being here even at the draft, just having such a fun time. And you guys are all just so awesome. And it's just, you know, great to be here and great to receive this award.
And then there was one. The newest addition to our award catalog, and a worthy addition that is. This year, we introduced something called a vice captain, because the role of captainship is very, very difficult. You have 10 people that you are managing, your own community that you're looking after, and making sure everyone's doing okay, making sure people are ideally winning games. And they can't do it alone. So we created the vice captain role to promote some agency, to get your right-hand man in there with you when times get tough. And these nominees here tonight that I will be announcing, oh no, are the best of the best at assisting their incredible captains. And they are the reasons, a lot of the time, these teams find success. Because when it's one person beating the drum of togetherness, it might fall on deaf ears. But if there's two, the team's starting to get rallied. And these are the nominees for the Vice Captain Award. The first is probably the person you think of when you think of Vice Captain. It's maybe one of two for me. The incredibly decorated Slushy, everybody. Slushy was a vice captain before vice captains were even a thing, and he is kind of the last vice captain archetype of the olden days to not be promoted to a captain, and he always has and will continue to do an incredible job as long as he is in that role. Very impressive season from them. The next nominee is the one and only Serial, everybody. Now, Serial can't win this award because he's such a good guy, because he's too nice. But Serial made the Beavers function while Drew was abroad. And obviously, Drew has a lot to thank for him, but also I, the commissioner, want to say thank you, Serial, for coming in week after week and helping the Beavers grow. This Beaver team that we keep saying next year could go on an insane run. I mean, maybe listen to the podcast. JD and I got some predictions for that going further, but that wouldn't happen without Serial tonight. The next nominee is the man on the winning team, of course, Straw, everybody. Straw, right now, is one of the people I would think of and say he is the vice captain. He has achieved this season what all vice captains should strive to achieve, which is to win a championship and to be a crucial part of the locker room. Straw has debated his way through some incredible situations. In fact, when they actually won the championship, in case you weren't aware, we actually all thought they were dead until Straw pointed out that there was a technicality where they weren't. He hopped in, he was paying attention, and he argued on behalf of his team when it mattered the most. He is an incredible vice captain, but he is not the last nominee here as probably the other person you think of when you think of insane vice captain, the one and only Mr. Java. Mr. Java was in a very similar spot, maybe to Serial, with the natural distance between him and Hodgepodge, kind of preventing Hodgepodge from taking the reins fully as captain this season. Mr. Java completely rebuilt the team in the offseason. He rallied his guys, he got them invested and engaged, and he made the Jets one of the teams that you would want to be on. If I was wanting to be on a team, maybe it'd be the Dragons because they're named after me. And I love them, that's also a reason. But the Jelly Jets are the team to be on. And they went from the worst team in the league, maybe they kind of still are. They just haven't made the playoffs ever. But they are the team to want to be on in spite of that, and that is because of Mr. Java, everybody. This is an incredibly tight race. Any of these, I guess three, could take it. But the winner of the Vice Captain of the Year award, in an incredibly tight vote, a margin of 2 votes, won Mr. Java.
I will. I've never gotten an award before. This looks really nice. I have a couple things to say. First being that this putting in the work to help my team was so easy to do because of my guys. this didn't feel like work. The things that I did for my team, this was the greatest thing ever. This was getting off of a hard day of work and just wanting so bad to get to that game because some of my best friends in the world were there. And that meant everything to me. You know, that's why I do it. It's so, my guys make it really easy. So thank you guys. And thank you to Hodgepodge for what you do while you're off doing your physical therapy ventures. I know you're not there as much as we wish you were, and that is the fact that I love being on your team so much. Despite that, really just reflects who you are and how good of a guy and a leader you are, despite your other adventures that have to take priority. Yeah, we got to see a lot of really cool things this year with our rebuild. We got to see the rise of Python, 15 rated player currently, and Rookie of the Year. We got to see Wonder Boy, an incredible player, Dave Buizquiz, who got his win off of his only game, which was incredible. We got Groove Sloth almost beating Caleb Ward, which I thought was very impressive. All right. And that was my fault. I'm sorry, Groove Sloth. I want to thank Gus and Gideon for just investing in me as a leader and really just being there to answer questions when I didn't know what to do, when I didn't know how to lead. They made it easy being in the arms of leaders that are really great and great captains. That's all I have for you. Thank you guys very much. You guys are incredible.
Yes, I did. To disco down and check out the show. Yeah, they were dancing and singing and moving to the grooving. And just when
Wow. And those were the awards for this season. And I know we're a little bit over how we want to be, and we will be cutting some things from the schedule just so you're aware. But there are a couple things that are so important that we have to get through because there are a few teams that have not said their piece. So there will be things we're cutting. That will not be one of them because it is so important that we continue to support each other, to listen to how the seasons are going, and to hear what the future holds for some of our teams. So we will get out soon, don't you worry. But there is a certain man who is one of my closest friends, who I've been through a lot with, thick and thin, and I have gotten to firsthand witness his leadership capabilities. He has been one of the most dependable guys, not just as a leader, not just in this league, but in my life that I've gotten the pleasure of knowing. And he has led an incredible team for a long time. Of course, I'm talking about the man himself, Johnny, everybody.
Those are dark. I'm Johnny, captain of the Mama Llamas. Before I say anything about this past season or the past seasons, let me just take you back. I believe, someone may have to fact check me on this, I believe 5 years ago, 5 full years ago, I had just graduated high school, half a decade ago, feels like forever. And I'm in the McReynolds basement. We're sitting around a pool table with the covering on the table. Everyone knows what I'm talking about for the most part. And I believe it was myself, Drew, Gus, and either Kyle or Caden we all played so many games that summer. Anyways, one of you two was there for sure. Maybe both, I don't know. And we're all sitting around this pool table. We've got like stools, and there's this white cardboard cutout on the table with hand-drawn tiles and, poorly printed out. I mean, it was impressive at the time, but poorly printed out cards what was the kid's name? Somebody helped us with those cards. Gus knows. Anyways, that was my first Board Wars experience. And at the time, I thought, wow, these guys are way nerdier than I am. Like, we're rolling dice. We've got little Minecraft figurines we're moving around, and none of it made hardly any sense. It was like, there's no strategy to this. It's just madness. And so I wasn't like that into it, which we've heard from a few people tonight. I really wasn't. And then after that summer, I went to Missouri State for a brief period of time. And while I was at Missouri State, they were working on developing the tabletop simulator version of the game. And so we began to play games on tabletop for the first time ever while I was at Missouri State. And I just remember not even really like they would invite me, I'd get on a game, and like an hour in, I'd be dead. I'm gone. I'm happy to be gone. I just I hadn't developed that love for the game. And then I came back from Missouri State after a year and a half. College wasn't for me. That's okay. And we began to play more and more games in person. We got, Gus got the office set up, and we just started playing more games. And the more you play Board Wars, the more addicting it gets. It's so competitive. You just want to win, and it feels like, man, I just need that one more, that one good hit, that one good attack, that one good play. And it gets addictive, as well as you're just surrounded by all these good guys. Just look around the room. Look at all these guys. They're so amazing, so many amazing people in the room. And that's what began to sort of pop up in my head as we played those games that summer, which was, I think, the summer after 2021, summer of 2022. And then the league started, and Gus asked me to be a captain. I was so bad at the game at this point in time. Our first season, I believe we went 0-7 before we got our first win, and it wasn't my win, it was Jeff's. Jeff, he had the amazing Deadpool game. It was an awesome game, and it gave me hope as a captain, because at this point in the season, everybody's like, the Llamas are not great, And at this point in the season, I'm like, maybe we could pull something out of this. And JD was at all of these games, I'm sure you remember. And then I finally got my win at the very end of the season, which put us into the playoffs. And literally at the very end of the season, it's like, well, maybe the Llamas are okay. And so we didn't win the playoffs that year. It was a bad year in general. But going into season 2, we had so much hope for the team. And then I was awful that season. You have your highs, you have your lows. I had 2 wins this season before, 0 in season 2. But JD shone through, which I was not fully expecting. But JD became this rock for our team. And not just for our team, but for me as a person, both in the game and outside of the game. You're just such an amazing presence in my life, and you're a joy to be around as a dude. But you became this amazing Board Wars player, carried our team completely, not even close, just carried the team. And we had Kyle had a win that year, Jeff had a win that year, Jacob had a win that year, just crazy. I had 0 wins. That's okay. And we went to the playoffs, and I honestly thought we were going to clinch it, and then we did not. We did not. It was stolen from us by these heels here. I'm just joking, for the most part. But it was stolen. I love you too. And then we're going into season 3. We come to this season. Throughout all of this, I've been relatively excited about Board Wars. I've grown a love for Board Wars, and I still haven't quite found who I am as a player, but I've always felt good at making plays and just being a good captain that can look at the game from sort of that 30,000-foot view, look at the player who's playing and be able to tell them hey, in this situation you need to do this, or in this situation you need to do this. Towards the end of season 2, a scary thing started to happen though, is I'd come up with a play, or I'd have an idea, and I'd suggest it to our MVP JD, and our former MVP JD. And then JD would have a better comeback to what I was suggesting. he'd be like, no, actually, I think we should do this. And it just kind of hits you like, oh my gosh, this dude's gotten better than me, you know, which I wasn't that good in that season to begin with. But it's just that scary feeling of like, dude, I'm unked. I'm unked out, you know. This season, I was very excited going into the season. I think we traded well. We picked up Jacob Dieter. We picked up Black David. We picked up Sam Dieter. And I was so excited, but you'll notice our team has become like the older dudes in the league. And I think that's what has kind of set us back, is young blood is very good for the league. It is good to have dudes on your team that are like freshly excited about this game. And unfortunately, we had myself, we had Kyle, we had Jeff, Jacob, like players that have just been in the league for so long. And once you hit like 21, scheduling just becomes a nightmare for like, if that's your whole team, yeah, good luck. Yeah, I know the cuties know what I'm talking about. And so this season was just rough because of that. Scheduling was hard. Creating good strategy for the whole team was very hard. But there were some moments, you know. We had a very interesting player join our ranks this season. Meow Meow. Robbie. Up for Rookie of the Year. I just got to harp on him for a minute. Over half of our games this season, I believe, were played at his house in his basement. And he played, I think, 3 games this season. Just such an amazing person to be around. Such a splendid personality. The power clown, you know. Just so many amazing moments were had at his house and had shared with him. And he got a win, which was like awesome. You know, I think he went 2-0 prior to the win, or was it 1-0-1? I don't know. Anyways, you got a win. And that was just awesome, you getting that win. And I had 2 wins this season. And so there was a little bit, towards the end of the season, there was a little bit of like, okay, we're coming back. But I've realized that over the past 3 seasons, I've just struggled to find the best strategy for the team. And so we've had our ups and we've had our downs. And I think we'll continue to have our ups and have our downs. But the Llamas are going to make a shift that will affect the league, that will affect our team. And we're going to make this shift in the hopes that our strategy, our camaraderie, our brotherhood, everything about our game will improve. I hope. Okay? So, I came up here wearing these glasses. You know, these are the captain's glasses. They help you see the game better. But it's time for somebody else, somebody with a fresh view, somebody just with you know, slightly younger blood than I do, to take over, to take the reins, you know, to guide us and lead us into the next era of Mama Llama-ism, okay? That's a thing. Look it up. Look at Urban Dictionary, Mama Llama-ism. I'm just kidding. I have no idea what that'll take you to. Don't do that. Kyle, will you join me up here? Something small. Kyle has been with us since the beginning. He's got an amazing brain, an amazing capacity to think about this game, and he's just a brother. You know, he brings guys together so well, and he leads so well. I've seen that all throughout your life. And so I, as the current former, I don't know, whatever, captain of the Mama Llamas, believe that Kyle is the best option for the next captain of the Mama Llamas. And so I'm going to take my captain's glasses off.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so my name is Kyle, or Cal Bruss. Hey, guys. So, yeah, I mean, first off, I just want to say how thankful, how grateful I am for this opportunity to just become a servant of the Llamas. Guys, I will say, at one point in this season, I lost hope. But then I realized it wasn't hope that I had lost. It was vision that I had lost. And you know, that was not a play on the glasses. But yeah, I lost vision. And I honestly really realized this when I was watching just one of the Board Wars podcasts. You know, shout out Board Wars podcast. It's great. Every week, that was a high of my week, just being able to watch JD and Gus put on just a great show. So thank you guys for doing that. But yeah, after, I realized this, I just got to thinking. I was door dashing, I was praying, and I really feel like God put it on my heart to just get more involved and really just step into leadership. And so I gave good old Gus a call. And I was like, hey, guys, I don't know if this is going to mean anything for you, but, this is something God might have put on my heart. And he was like, really? Well, I've been praying about this for you. And I didn't really... Yeah. And so it was really cool to just kind of see God's hand over that and answer the prayer right there. But yeah, now we're here. And I am really excited to step in this role and serve the Llamas this season and for many seasons to come. And guys, I really think the Llamas are looking bright this coming season. All right. We're going to make some roster moves coming up, okay? We're going to grow closer just as a team, as a Llama herd, okay? We're going to get some practice games in this off season, and we're going to launch into season 4, hopeful and ready to just play some Board Wars. What's really exciting is, I don't know if a lot of you know, but right now I live in Arkansas, and even then, before then, I was at college in Springfield at Missouri State. So I've always kind of been separated from my Llama team. But coming in August, I will officially be moving back to St. Louis. Yes. It's super exciting. It's going to give me the opportunity to get a lot closer to some of our guys and just, be a part of their careers, right? And so I just want to say our goal really going forward, whether we win or lose, is just grow closer with each other. Also, maybe just grow some lost, relationships. That would be pretty sick. And most importantly, just represent Christ well. And just grow in a brotherhood and fellowship. So some final words that I have for you guys here tonight. I kind of wrote a poem, so I like to write poems sometimes. But the Llamas you know aren't the Llamas you know. Where did we come from? Where will we go? In Board Wars Season 4, we will show. Whether we're hot or whether we're cold, we're going to glorify God. As his lights, we will glow. The Llamas you know aren't the Llamas you know. In Board Wars Season 4, we will show. Thank you.
Wow, what an incredible talent that Mama Llama Captain Pipeline is. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? John Mark, legendary captain, JD, legendary captain, and now Cal Bruss. Awesome stuff that they are doing in that desert over there. The Cud Spitters, isn't that what it's called? Cud Spitters? Apparently they don't like that, but that's what some people call them when they're mad. They got some interesting stuff in the water for leadership. And, there are 2 teams left to give an announcement. And one I had mentioned previously was my favorite team, maybe other than my namesake. the incredible Jelly Jets. Welcome to the stage, please, the nice guy, Hodgepodge.
Yeah, I do know that song. We were talking earlier, and I heard that somebody had picked the songs. It wasn't our team, and I was wondering if I would know the song when I came up. I did know that song. So, as Gus said, I'm Hodgepodge. I'm the Jelly Jet captain. And today is a special day for the Jelly Jets, right? For more than one reason, and we'll get to that, but obviously John, or Java, Python, you guys taking your own trophies home, that's big. But because it is a special day, I thought I'd also give a little history on the Jelly Jets. I resonate with a lot of these stories that I'm hearing. JD, Johnny, I'd played the game twice. When Gus asked me to become a Jelly Jet captain, that was at the end of the 2023 internship group. Raise your hand if you were in the 2023 internship group. Yeah. So I'd only played twice, hadn't won a game. I felt pretty bad, but I was up for it, and Gus had a lot of faith in me. And he's had an incredible amount of faith in me up to this day. So I'm a pretty busy person. As Mr. Java said, I'm in physical therapy school. I'm going into my 6th year of school. And I just remember, like, it'd be in the middle of the day, and in between classes, I've got studying to do, and Gus would call me up, and I'd be like, oh no, it's Gus. Like, oh yes, but I only have an hour, and this is gonna take an hour. But I loved those conversations. That was early in season 1, and we just had some great bonding moments, coming up with card ideas and talking about vision of the Jelly Jets. I think also early on, we kind of set this culture of the Jelly Jets of like, we're all gonna be really nice no matter what, you know? And maybe that wasn't a great strategy for getting a shiny trophy, though there are trophies that you can get for being nice. You know, and I think we only won like once the first season, and I think we only won once the second season, you know? And it got to the point that I heard through the grapevine that people were putting bets on how many wins the Jelly Jets would take. And I heard like maybe 2 season 3. And then we came out and we won 1 game, and we won 2 games, and we won 3 games, and we won 4 games. This is not the Jelly Jet team we know. And it really is not because of what I have done. You know, it's because of these people back there at the Jelly Jet table who have, you know, taken my place where I couldn't be there, and they were just an incredible support. You've heard their names already. And to help rehash a little bit, I would invite Mr. Java to come up. I realize we're running low on time, and we've already kind of talked a little bit about the Jelly Jets, but John, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I'll be quick. I said a lot of it and what it meant to me prior, just getting closer with some of my closest friends. I remember, well, first of all, my favorite memory, I think, was our first game, that first win you mentioned, Peter and Technoblade. It was, I think, Peter, you'd played like 2 practice games, maybe like 3, and some of them were like 1v1s or like a weird 3-player game, so it wasn't even real. I don't think you really knew a ton about what you were doing going into that. But we went in, we really just analyzed it. We bounced off of each other like we do so well now, and how we've improved in that. It was just every turn, it was just like there was so much pressure on the line. There didn't have to be, but we felt it because it was, we're coming off of a bad start, and we knew we could be more, and we achieved that this season. So just going through with Technoblade, I remember we kept getting the pigs. There's more and more pigs, and there's one pig. Then you said, I think, Gus, I wanna roll for pigs. He said, all right, pulls out the 20 D20s. You're like, no, Gus, that's not what I meant. I want another pig. He's like, okay, so you have like 1,800 health now on Technoblade. I was like, well, then now they know. We're kind of trying to keep it on the down low. But just that first game, just working with you and with the whole team that was there, the late nights at our games. I remember one time I slept over there at the Knoweth Jet runway because we had church in the morning, and it was like 3 a.m. We had spent the night power scaling cards. Just some great memories. So thank you guys for an incredible season. It was really awesome.
And thank you, John. So if you guys know me, I like to go 110% in everything that I do. And lately, I felt like it's been the right time to, give my 110% to other things going on in my life, right? The hodgepodge signal has shone in the sky, and I must go, So I also will be stepping down as the Jelly Jet captain. I believe that makes me, next to Johnny, the last OG captain to step down. And you might think that I will be passing it off to Mr. Java here, but I'm actually not. There are other things in store for Mr. Java. The man that I'm passing off my team to is Python. And we do have tokens to give to our wonderful Python. Some jet wings. Because he doesn't have a pink tie, I thought he could use it. Python, you want to share a few words? That's wonderful, beautiful.
First of all, this tie is amazing. I think we can all agree. Second of all, I just want to think about next season. I know we've got some legendary players on the Jets now. I just wanted to say, in the words of Caleb Ward, I want to cast a vision for you. And imagine next season. So we've got on our team, we've got 3 Sipes, which is crazy. They're basically joggers when it comes to Board Wars, in my opinion. So we're pretty legendary. And then we've also got my brother, who's amazing, of course. He's a Knoweth. He's going to be good at Board Wars. and then we've got whoever we happen to draft this season. And I'm just picturing, if it was a race between all of the mascots, right? We'd have a bear, a raptor, salamander, and we'd have a jet. And I'm just picturing in a race, we probably would not start very fast. You'd have to gas up the plane, you have to get a pilot. It'd take a long time to start. Other people would take off running, and they might win the playoffs a couple times. But when the jet gets going, no other animal is going to compete with it. it is going to go supersonic speeds, and no one will be able to catch it. So that's what I'm picturing for the Jets season 4.
All right, and I'm doing this announcement. Oh, that was a question. I'm not. Here you go.
John, something's going on? Okay. Okay. What do you want me to do? If you are we? All right. Come up here. Give it up for Mr. Java, everybody. Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, the chorus. The chorus is. Yes, I'm gonna teach you. Don't worry. The chorus is pretty easy. This is not the right note. Thank you for that. I really appreciate this. This is how the chorus is gonna go. It's gonna sound a little like that. We're gonna say, "You the hodgepodge. You a founder of the league." Yeah. One more time. You the hodgepodge. Oh, it's so good. Anyways, of the greatest jelly team. Of the greatest jelly team. That's the chorus. There's some white boy rap in there, so you'll get to hear that. But thanks. He's the handsomest captain by popular vote, and a singer-songwriter, he's hitting all those notes. He gets that win every season, most consistent player ever, yeah, and that's the reason. You the hodgepodge, yeah, the founder of the league, yeah, you the hodgepodge of the greatest jelly team. Over this way, this way. He's a volleyball star, he can dig and spike. You talking Spiegel or Shovel Knight, no that can't be right. He can do it on the court, he can do it on the board, and it ain't for no reason he's got his own award. You the hodgepodge, you a founder of the league, yeah. You the hodgepodge of the greatest team. Last one right here. He's known by many names, I just call him Captain. And you know that I love him, I would not be rapping. We wish you the best while you're cracking backs. Just make sure to come back for some Bird Island attacks. You the hodgepodge, the founder of the league, yeah. You the hodgepodge of the greatest jelly team. Take it away, Peter and Dave. Yeah, come on, yeah. I just gave you the hodgepodge. You a founder of the league, yeah. You the hodgepodge of the greatest jelly team. Just the voices, everybody. You the hodgepodge. You a founder of the league, yeah.
Stuff from the Jelly Jets. Give it up one more time for Hodgepodge. And one more team asked to speak, and it might be hard to top that. I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know, Gideon, if you've written a song. But please, everybody, welcome the former captain of the year, my right hand, Mr. Gideon. Oh, wow, what is that? Oh, my gosh. We invested in our prop department this year, I guess. Oh, man, that's a sword.
Lucky sword, not actually used for this. I want to put something in my hand. I'm actually really nervous about this. Hi, my name's Gideon. If you want to know what my Board Wars name is, it's Gideon96. Yeah, I know. Yeah, pretty nervous to be up here. Honestly, I was hoping that, somebody else was gonna this sounds terrible, like nervous breakdown, so that way like my nerves don't look nearly as bad as theirs, but straw didn't. Not a big deal in the slightest. And I'm gonna set these right here, so if any emotions happen, no they didn't. But I came up here, Gus wanted me to talk about my experience in Board Wars. One of the last people talking before the announcements. So I want to go over exactly, I'm going to pace so that way, if I'm walking, I can't be scared. I want to talk about exactly my experience with Board Wars, how it started, how it's progressed, before I kind of get into the reflection of my team. So Board Wars, how I started off, I went to YFN in, I think I was going into 8th grade. I was either going into 8th grade or I was going into freshman year, I think. And I remember I was terrified because on the bus ride over, I heard that I was going to be in the room and in the dorms, sharing it with 3 people that I didn't know that were all older than me, much cooler, awesome people. And that was Caden Gillum, Drew Jogerst, and Gus Tepe. And I was terrified. Oh my gosh, it was so scary. To be honest, guys, even though I'm decent at talking, doesn't mean that I'm good at talking to people that I don't know. So I remember I went in and I was so scared. I was like, these guys are like so cool, and they're like, Gus is probably like a D1 athlete, and he was, but other things. And like Caden and Drew, these guys are like all older, cool people. And like the first conversation that I had with them, I was like, oh, thank the Lord, they're nerds. I was so happy. I remember the end of that night ended up with, and this is gonna sound absolutely insane to all of you, me and all of them playing D&D, Gus being a person who had a split personality, Caden being mad at Gus because he was ruining my story, and me saying, no, it's fine. It wasn't fine. I just didn't know him well enough to say it wasn't. And Drew being too tired for him to mediate between those 2 people. But actually ended in a lot of fun. After that night, I know that's really weird to say that, but it was after that night that I finally played Board Wars. This is when it was in cardboard and everything like that. And it was so captivating from the very first time that I played it. There's a lot of things that I really liked beforehand that I just saw elements of in the game. I was like a big trading card guy, so seeing the cards and the physical cards, because it was on like cardboard and everything like that at that point. It was so engaging as soon as I saw it. This might not be something that's for every single person here, but in D&D you have like little figures that you like move around and stuff like that. It looks somewhat similar to how you're moving around your pieces on the board. And then one of my favorite video games of all time is Skyrim, like how much open content it has and going through and kind of playing however you want to. All parts of the game that I saw highlighted to me. And on top of that, it was a breath of fresh air compared to what happened the night before, to be honest. But I remember for probably around 2 years after that, I didn't talk to Gus, Caden, or Drew. Maybe Drew occasionally at church, but still not friends with them in any regards. I remember Gus randomly, and I went my own path at that point. I remember Gus just randomly like hit me up, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to?" I actually don't fully remember how the conversation went, because now that I'm thinking about it, 3 years ago me would be like, "No, I don't want to star in a horror movie." But he was like, "Do you want to play board games at my board game shop?" Random person that I don't know. I was like, what? What do you mean by that? He was like, "Yeah, we're gonna start playing Board Wars. We're starting up a league. I'd like you to be one of the people to play. You played it, when I was on cardboard." I was like, "Game on cardboard? What? What are you talking about?" I had no clue. And I remember I just went up, and Gus, he was like, "We're having Bible study before, and then we're doing Board Wars." And that was what happened for a solid, I think 10 to 12 weeks. And Gus had to repeatedly see me say, "Oh, sorry, I can't go to Bible study. I have something at 10 a.m., but I could go to Board Wars." And that's what I did for weeks and weeks and weeks straight. And Gus, after a while, asked me to be the Smoky Salamanders captain. I know. And at this point, truthfully, I didn't know what Board Wars was supposed to be, what this league was supposed to be. I had no clue exactly what this was going to mean to me, and how it was going to progress. I remember at the very beginning, this is going to be game one, and then I'm going to do a little bit of a time skip. Hope everyone's okay with that. I remember during the draft, I drafted Slushy right there, first overall. And you want to know why I drafted him first overall? Because Gus said I should. That was the only reason. I had no clue who this guy was. I was like, Slushy? That's a weird name. I didn't even have Goober on my team at that point. Caden, I believe, was my second pick. And then it was Dakota Sheets and then Dan. That was my team. I know. Dynamic trio right there. Yeah, and Dan. I'm telling you, yeah, everyone was bad besides me and Slushy, and somehow we still didn't make the playoffs. Thanks, Joel. Taking my spot in the playoffs. I'm done with you. Okay. Oh my gosh. But I remember the very first game, and Gus, everyone can look at Gus right now. You could 100% tell him that I'm telling the truth right now. I did not run this by him. What did I say after the very first game? The very first game. Hated Slushy. I said you made me waste my first round draft pick. I said this is the worst thing ever. I only can rely on Dan and Caden right now, which was crazy. I was like, I'm amazing at this game, but I don't know how good these guys are. But I remember season one kind of started to wrap down. And at this point, I was nowhere in my faith. I didn't realize that I was getting poured into the way that I was. But for some reason, I got an inkling to try harder in season two. I got an inkling to go through and try my hardest to pour into these guys, because Gus said this needs to be a community. You need to be talking with your people. Gosh, was it the best decision I ever made? I'm going to take a second, sorry. Dan is my best friend in the entire world. When I think about who's going to be my best man at my wedding, that's that guy right there. How loyal he is, how amazing of a person he is in so many regards. It was such a pleasure to have him on my team. Goober, I remember me and Slushy season one, we were talking, and this is exactly how we referred to it. And you could be like, yeah, that's pretty nerdy. But it was. I'm in a board game league and talking to a bunch of other people in a board game league. Sue me. We said we need to find the third good player. As soon as we find the third good player, we're going to win a chip. And Slushy almost prophesied it, and it went out there. We found Goober, and oh my gosh, having him on my team and being there for me. There is times where this season I broke down. It was so difficult for me to go through the things that I was, and I remember Goober was there the entire way through. Such a reassuring presence, such an amazing person to talk to. Calm as a cucumber at all points, which actually made me pretty upset at some points, but was still so amazing. And even besides the people on my team, like being able to be part of this league, I know this is a really weird transition, but I'm going to transition to a story about John Avila, because that's the next person I'm going to be talking about. John said that I was a leader. He said that I was. I never thought I was. Maybe I talked like one, and he assumed that I was. But I remember the first time that I talked with John Avila, or like hung out with him really. I remember we were driving to somewhere. I honestly don't even remember where it was. It was late at night, and my plates were expired, so I got pulled over. My plates are still expired, but that's not important to the story. This was a year ago. That's also not important to the story. But I remember it was really crappy. We were at a light, and there was a cop right here. I pulled up behind that cop. A cop pulled up behind me. So like 2 cops were there, even though it was super late. And one cop comes around to my side of the car. They're like, hey, how's it going, blah, blah, blah. But another cop comes over to John Avila's side of the car and asks him, can I have your ID? I know, strange question. All of us are like, wow, that's kind of strange. It's like, but John goes, why? Exactly the reaction that I just had there, go. The cop tries to further explain, you don't have to give it to me. And John goes, well, no, I just want to know why. Why do you want my ID? And this kid wasn't being disruptive. He was dead serious. He just wanted to know why. He was like, I need my ID. I'd love to know. Moral of the story, John Avila, questionable decision sometimes. Having John Avila in my life, being able to see the way that he dedicates his life to the Lord, dedicates his life to Board Wars and how he presents himself, seeing the way that his faith has progressed over the years, it's so amazing, John. It's so wonderful to see the way that you've progressed, and it encourages me to be a better person every single day. Caden. Sorry, I'm just gonna swap off of it. If I stay on the current feelings, you feel them. But if you swap to the next one, you don't. That's healthy, probably. Caden was somebody who I think 2 years ago started a D&D podcast with. Originally, when we started this podcast, the podcast is still going today, by the way. It was called the Sally Cast because Caden was still a salamander. Yeah, it's been a long time. But I, truthfully, if it was not for Board Wars and pushed to do these things, I don't know if I'd have the relationship that I have with Caden right now. Someone that I can actively talk with about the things that I'm feeling, the things that we're struggling with, the way that we're thinking about situations, and all of these other things. What I'm trying to get at is, why is Board Wars important to me? And I think it's a really cheesy answer. Board Wars is the friends we made along the way. No, but if you look around, sorry, it actually is, but no. If you look around right now, this is why I love Board Wars. All of you guys are talking with each other, meeting up. How many times would I talk with Caden if it wasn't for Board Wars? I wouldn't know Straw. I wouldn't know Enigma. Not in the slightest. Caleb, you'd be over playing lacrosse. Dr. Luke, I'd be like, that was Carson's friend back in high school, I think. Obviously, I wouldn't know Slushy in the slightest. I wouldn't have gotten to know Meow Meow. I wouldn't have gotten to know who Robbie is. Probably John Mark. JD and Max, definitely not. And all of the people in between that. Board Wars is so crucial in my life because when I am feeling down, when I'm feeling like I'm at my lowest, I could look around and see a community of wonderful people. A community of amazing people that I could lean upon. And one of the people, if you guys wouldn't all mind getting up real quick and coming up here. No, not all of you. Salamanders. Gosh, I think this is your guys' moment too. Yes, yes, Caleb Ward, no.
I mean, Caleb can,
No, Caleb, sit down. Oh my gosh, sorry. We're supposed to be happy. This is a ceremony. One of the most crucial people in that time is right here. Slushy has been so insurmountable in my time as a captain. I remember he would call me up all the time. He'd be like, okay, so what are we going to do, Gideon? Season 1, it was like, Gideon, we're failing. Gideon, what do we do? Season 1, we didn't make the playoffs. Season 2, we won. I don't want to be this guy. Maybe that's the recipe for success. Don't make the playoffs, immediately win it. Exactly. 2 for 2. Technically, the Cuties didn't make the playoffs and then won the playoffs. Wait. Beavers in 2? Question mark? No. No, but oh, sorry. Slushy is, the best way I could describe it is fiercely loyal and strongly devoted towards his friends. I remember at the very beginning, we play EAFC together. It's a little soccer game where you kick around the ball, blah, 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 blah. I remember he invited me on to that, and then immediately I tried inviting him to my D&D podcast, which he was a lot more receptive to than I thought he'd be. Slushy has been there for me at all points. There's been times where I've had to tell him on the Discord, hey man, that 12-year-old probably didn't actually mean what he said about me. You can stand down. And Dan, do you mind holding this for a second? Just hold it right there. There is something that I wanted to give you. When I was, I think in season 2 is when it started. If you want to hold that up, I think it's for the stream. I guess I'll hold it. Okay, there we go.
Hold on. There we go.
There you go. Something that I got around the start of season 2. Yeah, the gum wrapper. I got you. Something that I got around the start of season 2 that was extremely important to me, and it was a testament of something that I wasn't at the time, but would like to be. It was this necklace right here. It was something my mom got me, and she got 2 of them. One for me and one for my brother. Carson, since he lived in Tennessee, never ended up taking the second one. And truthfully, I think after you guys see the second thing, just like the Salamanders, the only person that I'm willing to give this to is a brother. As the last thing I want to say is that I'm stepping down as the captain of the Smoky Salamanders. This team has been so crucial in my life, so amazing. But new leadership is important. And Slushy, there's not a better person I could give this to. I love you, Matt. Slushy, I name you captain of the Smoky Salamanders.
One more final applause for Gideon. Hello, hello. All right. So it's late. I won't try to take up everyone's time, but I would just like to start with how much Gideon has done for me in my life. I met Gus when I was 15 in Florida. 14, 15, it was like our freshman year in high school. 8th grade, wow, dude. Yep. He was the tallest kid I've ever seen. And he was the biggest kid I've ever seen, and he looked like he was lost. And I adopted him on that day. But through that, almost like, kind of like, it was weird how the meeting up happened. I didn't know then, but how much my life would change as well. I've met so many of like my future like greatest friends through a chance meeting in 8th grade. I am 22. I'm from Tampa, Florida. I'm in St. Louis right now. Like, I shouldn't know anyone here, but it's because of Board Wars. Gideon was also a big deal in that. I think he was there for when I was down. He was there for when I was up. And again, especially for when I was down, because there was a lot of times. I am devoted to winning as well as my friends, and losses didn't come easy. But Gideon taught me that losses don't have to just end at the loss. Take it to the chin, learn from your mistakes, move on. There's always a bigger lesson. So, Gideon, I want to thank you for being the best example and the best light that I could follow in the leadership role. And then one last time. Hello again, everyone. My name is Slushy. League champion, defensive player of the year, offensive player of the year, and now captain of the Smoky Salamanders.
Gideon, you are a huge part of this league, and you are now no longer the captain of the Smoky Salamanders. Could you tell everyone what you are going to do next?
Hi, I'm Gideon. No longer captain of the Smoky Salamanders. Gosh, that hurts to say. The reason that I'm no longer the captain of the Smoky Salamanders is because I am forming a new team. A freshly made team called the Cryptic Crows. The Cryptic Crows will be premiering in Season 4 of Board Wars, and I want to let this be known. There's never been a point where I've been an underdog. There's never been a point where I have been in a position where I wasn't already one of the best teams in the league. I mean, Season 1, we still had 2 wins. We were that close to playoff contention. Went into Season 2, won it. Went into Season 3, got that close from winning the chip. Now, obviously, Enigma won it. Congrats to him once again. But now, I'm in an underdog situation, and truthfully, I don't know where I go from here. I don't. I gotta use my picks properly, but as I think a lot of these, teams have said right here, new blood's almost better than new blood. New blood sometimes seems better than old blood, and I don't want to be this guy. It seems like Cryptic Crows are only going up from here. As I guess I gotta crown the motto now. Fly high.
wow, that was a lot. It is hard to watch a captain go through so much with the team, step away, but there are exciting new horizons for a lot of people. And there is one last exciting new horizon announcement we have to make. Mr. Java, would you come to the stage, please? Where are you? Almost. What is going on back there? Oh, shoot. In case you haven't noticed, Mr. Java is a fan of the theatrics. Is no longer a jelly jet. Oh my gosh. Mr. Java, what are you doing?
Gus, I'm founding a team called the Wealthy Waffles. Ladies and gentlemen, I have searched far and wide. I've found what I believe to be the best prospects in the region. They're going to my team. You can't draft them. Like, they're mine. Just like Gideon said, fresh blood. This is what I do. I love doing practice games. I love the Jets, dude. They mean so much to me, and it feels like I just get to do it again. I get to become friends with some new people. I get to train them up, just like we had so much success this season with. It's going to be a good time. If I can take a second. I just wanted to harp once again on just the impact that Gus has had on my life. Just as a leader who's led me, who's taught me how to lead. He thought I was ready for this, and I am ready for this, I believe, because of him, and because of so many other people. Yeah, Gus, you've changed my life. You've made me a better leader than I ever thought I could be. So thank you. And I didn't make a catchphrase, Gideon. I don't know what to do, but we did make this, Hodgepodge and I. Wealthy Waffles, baby. Come on.
Don't like clean money, I want my rent to be filthy. Plus with the retirement fund, I can't touch till I'm 60. So what am I supposed to do?
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an incredible night. Thank you so much for coming. But before you leave, we have two brief, incredibly exciting announcements that we will fire at a rapid pace, starting with our favorite man, former Hodgepodge Player of the Year, Straw. Straw, what have you been working on? Give it up for Straw.
I'm going to be very, very brief. I'm not going to hype it up at all. We are making a website that is meant to be replacing the Google Sheet. So then now you're going to be able to search through all of it like a Wikipedia. We're going to be adding a ton of tools to it, like a dedicated area for card suggestions that will be actually like making the card, like you'll be able to see it like visual and all. You're going to be able to see all of the player stats live. It's going to make it so much easier to just enter in game stats. And as you enter in stats from a game, it will update every single page for your player stats and also tell you about, like, you go on a cards page, you can see its performance as well. And we're also going to have on the website a bunch of tools that you will be able to use to run the game, such as a board generator, tools that we've seen before like Labyrinth, the Raining Tacos, etc. So we're looking at a launch time of at the start of season 4. And it won't have all the features at the start, but what we're looking for is to mainly accomplish what the sheet currently gives. We will still have a Google Sheet for the start of the season because, you know, with development, things can go wrong sometimes. So we want to make sure that you still have access to these resources. But we are aiming to have that, and then as time goes on, keep adding things. So in the player suggestions chat, if you have any requests for the website or ideas for the website, please add it. We will look at all of them, even if they might be crazy ideas, just put them there. And that's it. That's the big announcement.
What an incredible guy. We love passionate people who love our game and want to serve our community with their incredible talents. Give it up again for Straw Man. Put a lot of time into that. That's going to be awesome. We're so excited. The final announcement is one that we have been waiting for a long time. Another talented person with a gift they want to give the league. Please join me in welcoming to the stage. He is a new person, Jubin Rude. Jubin Rube? Please, everybody.
Awesome. My legal name is Kevin Cruz, and I'm probably one of the oldest people here, besides our guy back there doing all the graphics and everything. I started a company in 2022 called Support Player, and I make apparel for gamers. The reason why, I met my best friend through gaming. I didn't know it, but we had made it a point to get together every Friday night to play online games. And I met him in 2019, never met him face to face. We went through COVID together, and I did not know he was pre-suicidal. But every Friday, getting him on a game saved his life. That's my best friend. So I had dreams. I kept having dreams of clothing, kept seeing clothes on kids all about gaming. And I was like, God, what do you want me to do with this? So my wife also games with me. She's our support player in all of our games. She's the one that gives us ammo, gives us guns, gives us plates when we're playing first shooters. And support player just kept saying, like, that there's something behind that. There's something behind that in games and communities where you are a support player. And our slogan is not just in game, but in life. So I took the risk. I spent a lot of money, and we created a clothing brand called Support Player Apparel. And it didn't take off. But my dream was still, how can I support the gaming community? And I've only been going to this church for 2 years, and I kept hearing this thing, Board Wars, Board Wars. It's only for the guys. It's only for the guys. The girls don't know anything about it. It's all for the guys. And I was like, I need to look into this. And so I watched the draft last year, and I was like, man, this is incredible. Being here tonight, hearing all your stories, gaming saves lives because it's a community. You get new brothers, you gain new family, and I just love that. There's so much love in this room. And how can I support you in this gaming Board Wars? Well, the draft, we're going to do something new. If you can throw it up. So during the draft, we are going to be live pressing whoever is the #1 draft picks for next season. I believe everybody's getting a jersey if you're drafted. And we will be working on everybody else that's already existing jerseys as well. But yeah, my name's on there, but I don't know if I'm playing yet, so somebody might have to convince me. I don't know if I'll be a #1 pick, but we're excited to work with you guys. We're excited for the future of Board Wars, and that's it. That's all I got.
Oh, actually, I got one more. Mr. Gus. I got one more, a surprise for Gus, the commissioner. There's some special things in there too for
the little one to come.
Thank you so much. This is incredible. This is incredible. Everybody give it up for Jubin Rude. That's awesome. This is a really cool guy. I'm so excited for the future of that. He's put a lot of hard work into it. It's been kind of a rough week planning this thing, but he's been so patient with us. Incredible new member of our community. Please, someone draft him, please. Oh my gosh. You are getting a steal there. So yes, we are working on draft jerseys, but we are also working on jerseys that we can just wear casually. And there is a spot on the right chest. If you are an all-star, you're going to get some stars. If you're a captain, you might get a C. You're going to be a little decorated as you start to win some games. And this is the next step for Board Wars. We've wanted to do this for a long time. We couldn't, and that is the final announcement for tonight. Thank you all for coming to this year's Board Wars ceremony, and we have started a new era as we enter Season 4. Good night. Also, if you're here, help clean up. Thank you.
One thing that would be helpful is if you take all the tablecloth back to the Zap lounge, everything on it, that would be really helpful because all the boxes for the ornaments are there. Thank you.